welcome to Kobi to Metalating website. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Orphaned Lab and its music in general. So, first of all, how are you? How was the band during the last years?
We are okay. Just going to release. There is a live album releasing tomorrow. So tomorrow is some kind of a happy day in very sad days that we are facing in Israel and in the Middle East. As you know, we are in times of conflict and war. So this is a small moment of normality, and we are very happy to release our live album. Apart from that, we are okay. We are playing our music and always spreading our lights and hopes everywhere.
Mm, okay. Well, you are listening this new album, no called I haven't you may create. So, how can you tell more about how could you tell us about this release? More details about this new DVD live.
So first of all, we celebrated our 30th anniversary of the band, 3 decades. We are old now, and it was a very special concert that we did with a live orchestra, like a philharmonic orchestra of 60 players. So this is usually a dream of every metal band to also work with an orchestra. Classic music and metal always combine very good. And it was a very challenging show. It was during the times of the COVID-19 era, so we didn't know if the show is going to happen, but eventually we managed to do it. It was a small gap of days where they put out all the restrictions and they let us to do the show in front of 2,500 fans in Tel Aviv. So this is a very, very special show with an orchestra. All the songs of Orphan Land are getting a new version with classical arrangements and stuff like that. And this is also a DVD, so you can be a part of the show and join us with the show. So we are very happy about this. Basically, it's a once in a lifetime show that we did, and it's a very special one.
Oh, interesting to know all the kind of details. So, also, it has been 5 years since your last album, and Sun Prophets and Dead Messiahs was released. So, why didn't you release another studio album since then? Any plans for a new album perhaps next year?
It always takes us a lot of time to write an album because we deal with very serious subjects about the situation in the Middle East, in Israel, the conflict of the Arab-Israeli conflict and stuff like that. And it takes us time to think how to write the next stuff or where to bring it. So it takes us always a lot of time. We did only 6 studio albums in 30 years, which is not a lot. And now after the live album, I think we will start to work on the new studio album. Probably it will be released in 2025, I think.
Mm. Oh, okay. 25. Nice. So you are coming back to Latin America next year. That's an amazing one. So what are your expectations from this tour that is coming? Until I know, I have seen that there are 3 shows announced. Are there chance to include more countries, perhaps?
We are always excited to come to South America. We are big fans of the South American people. Um, we are big fans of the history. We are big fans of all the Nueva Canción movement from the 70s. Um, we admire, the people of Chile, Mexico, everywhere, basically, Brazil, Argentina, of course. And we had a great time when we arrived to South America last time, and we can't wait to come again. And there is a chance to add shows, of course. If anyone wants us to, if we are there, we are willing to do more shows. You just need to contact the tour manager, the one who produced the tour. His name is Ruben, and of course, we can do it. We also wanted to do a show in Colombia and maybe one in Argentina and anywhere, basically. Anywhere that they book us, we will play. If we come to the continent, so we want to do it
Mhm.
everywhere.
Okay, okay. I remember your concert when you was in Lima, Peru in 2013. So it was a great show, by the way. So what your memories about that tour 10 years ago?
First of all, playing in Peru was amazing because it was the first time we visited the country. We still have a flag of Peru that we got with the Orphan Land logo on it. We still keep it. And the South Americans in general were the most generous people that we had met. So, I mean, when I say it, the amount of gifts that we got from our fans from South America, we needed extra suitcase just to put all the gifts. And it was more gifts than we usually get from Europe or from USA or from anywhere else. It was the place that gave us the biggest amount of gifts from our fans. It could be, wine. It could be hat. We got the hats from Peru, with these two things, and we got so many things. The shirts of the football teams, and it was simply people with huge heart. This is how I remember South Americans. Very warm, welcoming, and can't wait to meet these wonderful people once again.
Mhm. Well, in the new live album, we can see you a big stage with our orchestra. It looks like beautiful, right? It looks like you beautiful. So, but when you
Thank you.
go on tour, it is difficult to do it without orchestra. And not all, and obviously, and not all the venues are big. From your experience, would you prefer small venues or big ones with an orchestra?
With orchestra, it will be hard to tour because they are a lot of people, so it will be hard to take them on the road with us. Um, I usually don't mind if it's a small venue or big venue, if it's a good venue. So it works out very well um, if the audience is good. If the audience is great, we had a great shows in front of 100 people. We had the great shows in front of 3,000 people. So a good show is a good show. But with the orchestra, it's very hard to take them on the roads. It has to be a special event, like maybe big festival to hook us up with some orchestra, and maybe that will be the right way to do it. But to be on the tour with the orchestra, it's almost impossible for every metal band. Even Septic Flesh, for example, they did the show in Mexico with the orchestra, but they didn't take it to a tour, for example.
Yep, yeah, that is true. So you are popular because your message is always about peace, which I consider important, especially in these times when we had to deal with the pandemic and now war in many parts of the world. So how do you see the impact of your music and your fans considering this aspect?
Our music had always been a good light and a good source of hope for fans from areas in conflict, because our music was never one-sided music. People could identify with our music, even though that we come from Israel. Arabian people could identify with our music because it was always uh, for everyone. It was always neutral, and this is the magic of music. So I think that it's important to have music in those days, and it's important to listen to music in those days and to our messages, even though that it is almost impossible during the times of war. It's becoming very hard to be orphaned land, because when you have a war and two sides, every side expect you to follow the narrative of their own, and it's almost impossible to do that. It's almost impossible to satisfy everyone when you write a post, or when you say your opinion about the war. um, you always get a backlash from fans. But during our career, we always had fans that left the band in times of war. We had Israelis fans leaving the band we had Arabian fans leaving the band because in social media it's very hard to please everyone, but our songs and our music and our lyrics are authentic and they are there. This is our own nueva canción, if I may put Orphaned in this sacred musical movement from South America. And we sing about things that are happening in our times, and this is this is this is important. Music was the, when you take the songs of when Violeta Parra or Mercedes Sosa or Victor Jara, they used to sing, it used to give hope to the people, and it used to give them strength, and it used to give them a little bit of hug. It used to hug them in difficult times. Um, it didn't help all the time to fix all the problems, but it gave the people some kind of hope and some kind of good moment. So
Mm,
I hope that we play the same role with Orphaned Land.
okay, nice. So also these are times when we have access to a lot of information and people can express themselves through social networks, but it's not used in a good way in many cases. And probably you have seen some haters on social networks or people that sees everything in the black and white way and consider enemies the people that not necessarily share the same ideas. So how do you deal with this situation? Yep, yeah, that is true. So you are popular because your message is always about peace, which I consider important, especially in these times when we had to deal with a pandemic and now war in many parts of the world. So how do you see the impact of your music and your fans considering this aspect?
Our music had always been a good light and a good source of hope for fans from areas in conflict, because our music was never one-sided music. People could identify with our music, even though that we come from Israel. Arabian people could identify with our music because it was always uh, for everyone. It was always neutral, and this is the magic of music. So I think that it's important to have music in those days, and it's important to listen to music in those days and to our messages, even though that it is almost impossible during the times of war. It's becoming very hard to be orphaned land, because when you have a war and two sides, every side expect you to follow the narrative of their own, and it's almost impossible to do that. It's almost impossible to satisfy everyone when you write a post, or when you say your opinion about the war. um, you always get a backlash from fans, but during our career we always had fans that left the band in times of war. We had Israeli fans leaving the band. We had Arabian fans leaving the band because in social media it's very hard to please everyone. But our songs and our music and our lyrics are authentic and they are there. This is our own nueva canción, if I may put Orphaned in this sacred musical movement from South America. And we sing about things that are happening in our times, and this is this is this is important. Music was the, when you take the songs of when Violeta Parra or Mercedes Sosa or Victor Jara, they used to sing, it used to give hope to the people, and it used to give them strength, and it used to give them a little bit of hug. It used to hug them in difficult times. Um, it didn't help all the time to fix all the problems, but it gave the people some kind of hope and some kind of good moment. So
Mm,
I hope that we play the same role with Orphaned Land.
okay, nice. So Also, these are times when we have access to a lot of information and people can express themselves through social networks, but it's not used in a good way in many cases. And probably you have seen some haters on social networks or people that sees everything in the black and white way and consider enemies the people that not necessarily share the same ideas. So how do you deal with this situation?
It's almost impossible to deal with this situation. Um, for example, when the last war started, so we posted that we stand with the Israeli people, but we said we do not stand with the Israeli government. We stand with the Israeli people because we know the people that were massacred, and because we are Israelis, this is our people. It's like the people from Chile will stand with the Chilean people. It's like the people from Mexico will stand with Mexicans. We are from Israel. We say we stand with the Israeli people. We are not against the Palestinians. We are against the Hamas. We said these words, and still people leaving our page, calling us hypocrites, um, calling us double face. But we didn't say we want revenge. We didn't say we want to kill someone. We say that we lost a lot of people and we mourn. These people were, some of them were Orphaned Land fans. We mourn, we suffer, we cry, and we want to stand with our people because we are from Israel.
Yeah.
That was enough to delete and erase Orphaned Land. But we never said that we are against the Palestinian people. You will not find one post, you will not find one interview, you will not find one word that I say that I am against the Palestinian people, that I want the Palestinian people to die. You will never find it. We never said it, but just to stand with our people was enough to backlash us and to delete us. And it's impossible. It's impossible in social media. Social media is very, very toxic.
Yes.
And we posted a few times and then we said we cannot continue to do it all day long. It also takes a lot of your time and energies because you cannot answer everyone. Everyone is talking to you, but you need to talk to 2,000 people. It's almost impossible. I think that our songs are very strong and our songs will live forever. So uh, there is a saying of Victor Jara that he wrote in his song Manifiesto, if you know. Uh, Canto que ha sido valiente, siempre será canción nueva. And
Okay.
I think that our music, if it has the courage, it will forever be a nueva canción, even if social media people are backlashing us. The music is stronger, the lyrics are stronger.
Well, yeah. Well, the social networks works. I don't either. I don't like the social networks. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I have seen sometimes on internet that discussions about bans should stay away from politics, for example. But when I see your social networks, you don't ignore what is happening now between Israel and Palestine, as you mentioned, for example. Does it cause you troubles with your fans or label, for example? Perhaps because the label are very susceptible to this aspect. Or do you think more bands and musicians should be free to express themselves in this sense?
I think this is the duty of artists to express themselves. But I think that artists should express themselves about the place that they are living in. So when an American artist is expressing his opinion about what's going on in Israel or Palestine, I don't think that he understands the situation. For example, I cannot understand really what's going on in South America to say my opinion. I need to learn to talk to a lot of people, to visit the place, and maybe then I will know something. But people everywhere just say their opinion all the time. And I think that Orphanland is a political band. we always wrote about the situation, and we always try to bring the people together. For example, we in 10 years ago, we went on tour with the Palestinian band, and we showed the people that once they fight on a territory of land, we live together in a tour bus, Israelis and Palestinians. We made coffee to each other in the morning. We made laundry together. We eat together. We are brothers with those people. The problem is that those people are not the people in power in the governments. We are not in the government of Israel, and they are not in the government of the Palestinians. If we would be the governments, you would have peace between our nations tomorrow. But we are a political band. We are singing about the situation. So we always express our opinion through our songs, and we find it better to do it rather than expressing our opinion on social media, because this is always out of proportion and not understood. Sometimes we do it also on social media when we feel like it, but I can tell you that we always follow our corazon,
Mm,
our hearts. We
no, okay.
always we always follow our heart. It doesn't matter if we will upset someone. It doesn't matter if the fans will leave us. We always follow our heart, and we say the truth the way we understand it. And I think that musicians, they should do it, but they should do it about things that they understand. They should do it about things that they know, and they are familiar with the situation. This is very important because it's a big responsibility
Yeah.
to, to say something. You need to think or to understand the situation.
Yes, that is true. That is true. So we're very closer to end this interview, Kobe, and for this aspect, and as I mentioned, I'm talking about other kind of topics. So next year it's going to be the 20 years since the release of Mabul, the story of the three sons of seven, a great album, by the way. So are you
Thank you.
thinking about making something special for this, perhaps, or what does this album mean in your career, and what is your favorite song from there?
Mabul is one of the most important albums of Orphaned Land. It was the album that opened us to the worldwide metal scene. We didn't tour the world before Mabul, but we started to tour after Mabul. We even arrived to Mexico after Mabul. We arrived to many places after this album. This was a breaking point, turning point in our career. It was the first album we did with Century Media, and it became a classic album. It is still the best-selling album of Orphaned Land, and it is still the most beloved album probably from Orphaned Land. And I know now for sure that we are going to make probably two shows to celebrate the anniversary in Tel Aviv, or maybe one big show when we will play the whole album incomplete from the beginning to the end. And if anyone wants to book this show, we will play it anywhere else. But I know for the moment we will do it in Tel Aviv, and we will be happy to play it anywhere else. This is a very, very important album and still a very dear album to me. And favorite song, it's very hard to for me to choose. Um, I cannot, I cannot choose.
Okay, okay, okay. So as I mentioned, we are closer. So what are your plans for the of the year until your Latin America tour happen?
So we are planning to play two shows in Tel Aviv in 2 weeks, and tomorrow is the release of the live album, like I told you. We were supposed to play uh, we were supposed to play a tour in January and in March in Europe, but we are delaying these tours to October, November because the I don't know if you are aware of it, but there is a huge rise of anti-Semitism in Europe towards Israelis and Jewish people. and it is not safe for us now to travel to Europe. We will be like a walking target, and we might even we got some death threats, and it's unbelievable. We are just musicians, you know, but just being Israelis and being Jewish was enough to people to spread their chaos and hate, and we have to delay our tours now because of that and because of the war. So maybe it will be a good time for us to start working on a new album. And I hope, of course, in April we are coming to South America. I can't wait to do it. This is still happening, and we will do the tours later on. This is times of war, and everybody is completely crazy right now.
Mm, okay, okay. Well, Kobi, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. I love your previous album, love the Mabul, especially as you mentioned it. And perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans that expect a lot of time happens, 10 years for the last tour, and now we are doing the next tour in 2024. So perhaps you want to add something for them and Metallium followers.
I want to tell them that we love them. I want to tell them that we can't wait to meet them. As I said before, the South American were the most generous fans we ever met in our life. We love you, and we can't wait to meet you and celebrate together life, music, and of course peace between human beings all over the world. We love you very much.